me best. I'm going to estimate this as best as I can. Can't really see it, but it says it's 7 inches. So that means we'll say 7 inches wide for front and back. And this is a lengthier process. So I'm going to put F and B because there's two different spaces, the front and back. So it's going to be 7 wide. And I'm going to use 7 as put a W underneath, or I'll just write out width. 7. And then I have to figure out how tall up it is. So I use my measuring tape, try to make this functional here, and I've got it as 11 inches. So the front of the box, and then if you need to, you look right to the back here. So those are the two spaces. It's 7 by 11 inches. So since I actually have this, I can kind of cross off the parts that I have measured already. When you're working on a piece of paper, sometimes you might have to redraw every section. You might have to pair them together, because you just need to make sure you have every piece accounted for. So I've gotten the front and the back. Now I'm going to do the side. So the side is measuring just right around 6.5 inches. So the side's width. So we'll do side plus side on my board. 6.5 inches. And that I'm going to actually call the length because it's a different measurement. But one thing I know I don't need to measure is the side. The height is the same as what I saw on the front and the back. It's not changing the height. You have to sometimes think of it logically. The side is connected to and right next to pretty much the front. So the heights are going to be the same. So I measure that out as 11 inches. If you think hard, the last part that we haven't done yet, I'm going to mark off the sides that I've measured these, is going to be the top and the bottom. So the top and the bottom, we've already measured these, but a lot of students maybe would feel more comfortable. When you see it on paper, it is going to be measured. If you see it on paper, you're going to see that this part of the box, it might be looking at you like this. We've already had that measured, remember? It was the width and the length. It's going to be the two bottom parts. So you need to have the measurements for it, for this bottom piece though. But if we need to, we can measure it out. Yep. And we're going to get that it's 7 by 6.5. And so we'll say, I'll just call it bot and top. I said bot. So we're going to have the bot and the top. So 6.5 times 7. So now with this, just to say for the time, this isn't the prettiest writing, and I know a lot of you students do not have beautiful handwriting either, so don't make fun of mine. Is what you'll simply do is you're using the area formulas. So a lot of these, basically think of them as all as rectangles. They're just different sized rectangles. So it says length times width. So if anything, when you're looking at a flat surface, I was saying height, but in this case, if you looked at it flat, it would just have a length and a width. So that can have, if this is trying to create a three-dimensional object. I know I have a lot of artists in class that's seen a lot of drawings some of you have done. But this is my way of trying to draw a three-dimensional object. And one thing you'll see is sometimes they'll have these dotted lines showing the back part of it, trying to make sure that you realize there's something behind there, or that it's three-dimensional. So we had three measurements, 6.5 inches, 7 inches, and 11 inches. So now this may get listed. When you see it, it might say 11, and it'll write out the word inches. I can't really fit all that in there, but I'll put 11 IN. And that is representing, again, what we measured was the 11 inches on how it goes up from the bottom here to the top there. It's this part of the measurement. So no matter which side of this box we're looking at, every line going up and down like that is 11 inches. So there's 4 different sides. So that represents this front measurement, this one, and then even the back one. Now we also had 7 inches. 7 inches was when we had the front. The 7 inches was right here. So this can get tricky, but this represents every line that is going side to side. So if you take a look, this is the front part. It's going to be, remember the front, so it's the line down here and then the line up here. So if this was our front, it would be the part right here and then the part up here. So now if this was our front, we also have to realize that the back side would have been the same measurements. So this is the part that I think is tricky when it comes to trying to figure out surface area, is understanding which parts have the same measurements. So 7 inches would be this line going here. 7 inches would technically be that line there because these both represent the front. the back up here. So this is the back side of it, and that's the top, that's the back part of the box. That would also be 7 inches. And then if you can kind of see, the dotted line back here is supposed to represent the bottom, the rest of the back, so that would be 7 inches as well. You don't have to write them all out, but sometimes it can be helpful to make sure that you know that they're all accounted for. Each line has a measurement. So the one thing that we have not found yet is in our picture, it's showing them kind of slanting backwards, and that'll be common. You'll see some lines that look like they're going at a diagonal or a slant backwards. The last measurement we had was 6.5 inches. Sorry, handwriting is not beautiful. But if we're looking at it, this was our front. We already marked it off. So then the last thing we have not done is we haven't marked off this measurement going back, which was 6.5 inches. So if we're thinking of it, looking at it diagonal, so the diagonal here and the diagonal up here would have to be 6.5 inches. So in our drawing, 6.5 inches right there, then 6.5 here. And if you need to, just so you can see it as you're writing it out, make sure you write a little number next to all the lines, but they have to be all the correct ones so you can make sure that you understand what you're measuring out and calculating. So all the lines going straight up and down. And for us in this picture, it was the longest line, said it was 11 inches. So this is 11, this is 11, and then remember, you're going to have that dotted line showing the back corner. That was 11. So I've accounted for, and this looks crazy, but if you're a good if you like to see things clearly, this is a way that can help you. So now what I have not written out was the 6.5 inch everywhere. So that's all the diagonal lines. So the last thing I have to do is this diagonal up here, and then the dotted one right there. So technically what you're going to have, when you have this all said and done, is we have 6 sides to our box. Front, back, side, side, top, bottom. So what you have to calculate is 3 different measurements, or 3 different areas. Because once you found the front, you don't need to find the back. They're going to be the same, because they have the same measurements. Once you find the side, you already know the other side. Once you find the top, you already know the bottom. So you're always going to have parts that pair up and match the same. So once you find one section, for example, we found the top, which was 7 by 6.5, we've already found the bottom. The bottom part. Once you find the side, you already know you have the other side. So you only need to calculate one, and then just make sure, and I think one of the best ways to go about it is putting them together. You organize it the way you want to. So the way I would organize it is I would say top and the bot. Again, I'm saying bot, short for bottom. So the top and the bot I said was 6.5 times 7. The front and back, so I can say F and B, was, let's say it was, I think 7 inches by 11. And then the last is side plus side, and that was 6.5 inches times 11. So with this, when you get your answer, you know that you should have, when you found one of these, any of these measurements, 7 times 11 would give us 77 inches. That is for one, just the front. So if I said the front was 77 inches, I could say the back was 77 inches. So I don't need to recalculate that. So I can just repeat that answer and say that there's 2 surfaces that have an area of 77 inches. So I found 2 parts. Down here, 6.5 times 11. I don't have my calculator, but I'm going to estimate that it's going to be somewhere around 70. 65. 71.5 is what I'm going to go with. And we can confirm this in class. And then since I have 2 of them, I can repeat that answer. So now I've got the front and the back, the side and the side. And I know these numbers aren't clear. Sorry. And then the last thing we would have is the top and the bottom. 6.5 times 7. Oh, I'm going to guess 6 times 7 is... I'm going to guess that it is... we'll just say 45.5. But we can always confirm this. But if you have 2 of them, then you're just going to write it out twice. Boom. So we would have 6 different measurements for a rectangular prism, such as this. So that is a way to kind of explore surface area. So, as I like to play pranks on people, I would wrap this up Maybe put something inside there. Possibly give somebody a whole bunch of One Direction magazines and stuff them inside here.